Perfect. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, thank you. Today we have two senior speeches, and we'll go ahead and get started there. The first senior speech, Mallory Holland.
Good morning. When Ms. Hilling sent me the email at 6 in the morning saying that it was my turn to give a senior speech, I thought to myself, oh goodness, what am I going to talk about? Then I thought to myself, well, when I was a freshman, sophomore, and junior, what would have been good for me to hear? So I took myself back and reflected on my journey here at Randolph and all the different stages of life we experienced. And I wish back then someone would have told me to enjoy every moment of your time here. Now I know you hear it a lot, especially from seniors, that high school goes by fast. And yes, that is true. Don't forget that. But I think even seniors forget to tell everyone to enjoy the time of life you are in now. These moments in our life are so important, but they are also temporary. Once you live in the moment, that particular moment vanishes, and you are instantly in the next moment. And what's funny about moments is that we normally don't realize we are living in them. Moments are quickly gone, and we can only look back on them through our pictures or memories. I remember coming into high school back in 2018, thinking that I was so cool to finally be out of middle school. Even though I loved being in high school, I could not wait to no longer be at the bottom of the food chain. I remember standing in the lunchroom line every day, just completely in dress code from head to toe, because would have been horrified if I ever got a point back then, and talking obnoxiously loud to my friends who were literally 2 feet in front of me, when the seniors at the time would walk past all of us freshmen and say, "Senior pros," while they cut the whole lunchroom line. My friends and I would respond with, "Go right ahead," with shakiness in our voice because of the fear we had for the seniors at the time. We would stand there in silence until they got their food and were at a distance that they could no longer hear us. We would all let out a deep sigh of relief and then start talking really, really loud again about how we cannot wait to one day no longer be the freshman that gets cut in front of. At the time, we could not wait to no longer be freshmen and to be older classmen. But as we look back, some of the best moments come freshman year. Freshman year is a time where you find yourself and the friends that you want to be around. Standing in the lunchroom line, all our mind was focused on that day was the day that we were no longer freshmen could not come soon enough. But in reality, we should have enjoyed and cherished our time that we were freshmen, with our only responsibility getting a good grade in biology. We were stuck in a moment of anticipation for the next chapter of our life. Then sophomore year hits. And for me at least, sophomore year was a year of waiting and anticipating for my 16th birthday. I could not wait for my sweet 16, and thought that once I turned 16, I would be living the life. Every day, one by one, my friends would be turning 16 and joining the others in the sophomore parking lot. But I was still 15, getting dropped off by my dad every day and having to find a ride home or to dance. I hated it. I would count down the days till I could finally drive myself again. However, as I look back on it now, I realized that I was blessed to be the last to turn 16. I got free rides from my friends, not having to worry about gas or anything. And during those free rides to places, I was able to just hang out and have fun with my best friends. I remember Anna Kate coming and picking me up almost every day sophomore year and taking me to random places like Target, Five Below, Sonic, or just anywhere where we were feeling. However, along the way to our adventure, we'd get so caught up in the song or talking that we would just end up driving for hours and hours and forget where we were even supposed to be going. Looking back at all the times my older friends drove me were some of the best memories and times I've ever had. Coming home on a Friday after a long, stressful week and just getting to hang out and ride with my best friends was the best. However, at the time, I was so focused on turning 16 and finally getting to drive myself that I did not even realize what I'd be missing when it came. I was stuck in my own world of pushing for my next event to occur sooner. So to everyone who cannot drive yet, cherish it. I know everyone looks forward to their 16th birthday, but until then, enjoy your time riding with friends and family. Do not be so busy waiting to drive yourself that you miss the moments of being a passenger. And then you have the dreaded junior year. Everyone knows junior year is the hardest academically speaking. So for most of the year, everyone is waiting to be a senior and to take the easy classes. However, our junior year last year was even more brutal because we had COVID on top of all the hard classes. Trying to do honors pre-cal and physics online last year was one of the hardest things I've ever experienced. And then also feeling like everything fun or what I was used to was taken due to COVID. We had no homecomings, hoopcomings, pep rallies, hanging in the lunchroom, seeing everyone's faces, or just even talking in class because of masking and staying 6 feet apart. I feel like everyone can relate to that idea that they could not wait to get out of COVID times and back to normal. When we were in lockdown and everything was canceled, I thought the world was at the lowest of lows. I was very caught up in what I was missing and all the bad stuff that was going on in our world. However, even though it wasn't the brightest time in our lives, there were some positives. We got to have legit class in bed, in our PJs every day, and everything was canceled. So even though that wasn't the best, for the first time in my life, I actually had free time. And during this free time, I would get to go on walks or bike rides with my close friends and just hang with my family. Looking back, it was actually a refreshing time in my life that created stronger connections with my family and friends. These COVID moments made me grateful for every moment that I experienced in my life, good and bad. And finally, we come to senior year. I know we are only 4 months into being seniors. However, before our time is up at Randolph and we move on to different places and stages in our lives, we all need to be absolutely certain that we appreciate the moments we are in now. As seniors, so many of us get caught up in anticipation of what is to come. We are all looking forward to college and are all very excited for what is to come next in our lives. It is okay to look forward to our future. However, we need to remember that we are still in a very special moment in our lives. We are seniors, enjoying friends, family, and all of our activities are all moments in time that we need to embrace and cherish. These will be our memories and moments for a lifetime. So live in the moment, embrace your moments in time, and realize that changes and transitions can be amazing moments in time if you enjoy every moment that you are in. Looking back at my time at Randolph, I realized that sometimes I was so busy focusing and anticipating on what's to come that I neglected to enjoy the moment that I was in. I'm so thankful for the memories that I made while here at Randolph. Time is temporary, so all your best moments and adventures are also temporary, and you will soon be in a new moment before you even realize it. So stop waiting for the next moment and enjoy the time of life you're in now. But because time and moments are temporary, this also means that all your bad moments in time will eventually go away, and you won't be stuck in them forever. Any stress, hardships, and difficulties you are going through will eventually go away. So be resilient and push through and make the best out of your situations. Enjoy your time here and be grateful for the time you're in now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mallory. And now, Phoebe Duncan.
Good morning. Before my mama passed away April 18, 2018, she made a goal in life to make connections with every person she met. Whether it was a person she worked with or people she grew up with when she was little, all those people saw my mama in a certain way. Whether that be a colleague, an old friend, or even a family member. But the reason I'm here now is to share who she was to me. From the time I remember spending with Mama and the impact she left on my life was a friend, a protector, and had the biggest impact on how I want to spend the rest of my life. I want to live. I want to go to new places and meet new people and make memories with them. My Mama lived her life with everything she had, and that's what I'm inspired to do. My sister Ella and my Mama had a certain mother-daughter connection where they go shopping together and tell each other the drama happening in their friend groups. Well, before my Mama passed, I was still in the 8th grade, so I was not at that level of maturity that Ella was. The type of friendship I had with Mama was more like we had common interests, like movies. One vivid memory I have before she got really sick was when I was about 10 or 12 years old. I was in my room coloring because my mama just got me a new coloring book filled with fun patterns from Walmart. She yelled from the couch in the living room, "Phoebe, come quick, it's an emergency." I of course start to bolt to the living room, and the first image I see is Mama on the couch in the first couple minutes of the first Jurassic Park was on TV. Mama introduced me to those movies when I was younger, and she always made the point to argue that the first movie was better than the others, especially the second one. She wasn't wrong. Of course, I watched the other two, and the acting was just not as good because not all the original actors were in them, so it felt off. The funny thing is that when she was alive, she never let me watch the other two movies. Whenever she was surfing the channels and I was in the living room with her, I would see one of the Jurassic Park movies wrong, and every time she said, "It wasn't the first one," then she just kept surfing. I finally watched them after she passed on my computer. Once I did, I finally knew what "it wasn't the first one" meant. What I know now is that she'd rather protect me from the time-wasting movies and let me make good use of my time by making better connections with good ones. My mama first got sick when I was in the 6th grade. She had breast cancer, and she was so strong that she beat it. About a year later, when I was in the 7th grade, she was fine and healthy. Then she started getting really bad migraines, which was odd because Mama never really got headaches before. She went to the doctors a couple days later because drugstore meds just weren't cutting it anymore. Her cancer doctor told her that she had 15 tumors in her head, and that is what was causing her headaches. So eventually, the cancerous things started happening again. Her hair started falling out, food started to eat, and sadly, it spread to the rest of her body. It got to the point where it was easier to tell people where she didn't have cancer. But even through all of that, she still protected me and Ella the best she could. There was one night where I went downstairs to Ella's room and we were talking about Mama's radiation treatment. The main points we made were that radiation and the cancer-killing chemicals being infused in her was really expensive. I think Mama heard us talking about it because she came downstairs to talk about it kind of abruptly. She told us, yes, it was expensive, but that's okay because we have insurance and that covered a lot of it. The thing is, I felt better that I knew that it was not too expensive, but after, all I could think about is that we were going to pay so much money to get Mama injected with chemicals that made her more sick to get her better. Why it did scare me so much was because I never really talked to my Mama about her cancer that much. I guess I'd rather not think about it, and then maybe it would just all go away. While I was living in ignorance, I found myself worrying about everything really important that Mama needed to tell me. I knew she would. I understand that I didn't like talking about what my Mama was going through, and I could tell that she respected that, and she wanted to protect me from the sad times, so she made happy connections with me while she could. I find it fascinating that she could read my mind, knowing the limit to the amount of knowledge I could take in. It's like she chose a version of herself and only presented that portion of it to me. If you can picture brainwaves being connected from two separate heads, that's what we have. Throughout the last year of middle school, my Mama never stopped fighting to stay alive to be with her family and even the people in the Randolph community. My Mama was an art teacher at Randolph and she loved her job. She worked for as long as she could, art for as long as possible. One time, as Mama, Ella, and I were leaving for school, she told she was feeling nauseous. We of course told Mama that Ella could drive because she had her learner's permit at the time. But one thing about Mama is that she was as stubborn as a mule. She started to drive, and on the route to school, there was a little church, and I started to notice that she was pulling over into the church parking lot. She then proceeded to get out of the car, and she started to throw up in the grass. Then she just walked back into the car, and we went to school like nothing happened. She just loved her job and the people at Randolph that much. I know there was a part of her that knew that she had a commitment to Randolph and to us. It's no lie that people at Randolph know who my Mama was in the Duncan Little name. Everyone knew she was sick, so I can totally see her when cancer got in the way of her job that day. From where I was standing, it seemed that she was sick of cancer getting in the way and she was fed up. Her pride was definitely showing at this point, going to work even though she felt awful. But I get it. I mean, my Mama wasn't stupid. She knew things were going to start to change and she just wanted to escape reality by holding on to reality. She was escaping cancer by holding on to the one thing she loved most, this school. To me, she was protecting it and not letting cancer take it away from her. That time and another really stuck out to me that will forever remind me she never stopped fighting. At this point, Mama was in the hospice center. That is where people go to pass on as peacefully as possible. My whole close-knit family started coming to the center to be near my mama as long as possible. The last family member that came was my cousin Harry. As soon as he came and said hi to Mama, she put the happiest smile on her face. It was like she was looking at $1 million. I love that memory of her. I know it wasn't the happiest place, but I like to think that she kept fighting for another chance to say hi to Harry one more time. Now I know this connection doesn't really involve me, but I think it was kind of humbling in a way. I got to see how close my mama was with other people and how much they meant to her. She had an infinite amount of people in her life that loved her dearly, and this is proof. Before April 18th, 2018, I had yet to go through the major events in my life. Leaving middle school and entering high school, having my share of high school drama, graduating high school, moving day to my dream college, and more life-altering experiences that a mom is there to help her daughter with. I am now a senior and I have not been through half of this long list of my ideal requirements a person goes through as time goes on. With the events that happen through time, I just have to imagine what my mama would tell me to do. How my brain thinks about it is, I don't ask what my mama would do in a situation, I would ask what my mama would have me do. I constantly have to remind myself that I am my mama's legacy. She was kind, honest, funny, creative, and she cared for others. And most importantly, she lived. She always sought out to meet new people and make new friends. When I see all the connections she made with people when she was alive and how they contact me and my family to see how we are, I believe she did it so that when she left for good, she would always know there are people here for me. That drive my mama had made me want to make those same connections with people in my life. I want to live my life the way my mama imagined for me, to protect the people dear to me, the way my mama made sure there was always a home for me to go to. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job, Miller. Thank you. As we wrap up this short week, we still have the YLC coin drive, the jars, and so any change that you have, please bring to the office either today or tomorrow. Those funds, they actually do fund the grants that YLC gives that students apply for, as you saw that link that came. So we would love to have any loose change you can, find a way in the jar, and we'll see just which administrator gets a pie to the face. The athletic winter season is upon us. It's underway. Swim and dive had an excellent sectional meet over the weekend. The girls finished first, the boys second, and 19 of our swimmers will compete in the state championships later this year. So let's give them a round of applause. Also wrestling, their season opened with the Huntsville Fall Brawl this weekend. We had bowling with a couple of huge wins over the course of last week. Let's give those teams a round, and basketball as well. It really was great to see, as we noted in the fall season, but the Rowdy Raider student section Friday night for the home basketball games were excellent to see, and hopefully we can continue that going for all of our sports and really cheering on each other as they compete for us in Randolph. When we return, obviously we're close to this final push, and I encourage all of you to really work with your teachers and make that final push to the end of the semester. You'll be receiving those exam schedules. You'll be taking those exams in your classrooms that you have according to your schedule, and those will be coming out as we go next week. And with that, seniors, you're dismissed.
So good.
Freshmen, you're good. Thank you.